We're going to be starting with the match that delighted, I think it's fair to say, proper topsy-turvy stuff. Topsy in that Chelsea didn't actually go any goals. Liverpool versus Chelsea. That happened yesterday, 2-0 to Liverpool. Liverpool really had to win this one, and Mo Salah. Salah's goal, my God, gentlemen, I'll give you the floor.
It was an exocet. Absolute exocet. Intercontinental ballistic missile. They're probably two separate types of missile. I don't care.
Mixed together.
It was one of those beautiful goals that we all know that. And it came obviously hot on the heels of the first one, which made it even more impactful. But, and this is a huge but, the reason this will live long in the memory for me is that it was scored from a part of the pitch which made the camera angle delicious.
Yes,
it was. Yeah,
it did that delicious thing, as you say, where it moves, and it's rare that a player can even strike a ball like that, let alone score with it. It's just
and it was great that the things that are needed to make a long range exocet execute properly is the camera angle, because if someone scores one of those from a bit further out, but it's right in the middle of the pitch, you don't really get it until you see the replay, the velocity and stuff. That was perfect, but also the ball didn't spin in the air.
Right.
Which makes it almost in a way extra dramatic.
It was like, I've picked my spot and I'm going to get this ball as quick as I can to that spot in the straightest way possible.
And I'm going to hit it like a rock. Like an absolute rock. Not like when you're trying to skim a stone on a pond.
Yeah.
When you're trying to throw a rock as far as you can. It was great.
2 minutes after we've scored.
Yeah.
Just going to have a little ding.
Yeah.
I
just
thought
going to see what happens. Why not? We're
I
ahead.
thought it was very friendly towards the people who have to recut landscape video into portrait for Snapchat and Instagram and stuff like that.
I think that's probably the people we all thought of first.
I thought that. I thought it's really nice and straight. That camera angle works. They won't have to do that weird kind of blurring technology. I don't like it.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, basically, when you convert a landscape video to portrait, and basically, you know how difficult it is for a camera to follow a football if it's moving really quickly.
Yeah.
They have to do this weird blur tracking kind of movement to make it still fit into the portrait mode of a mobile phone. So it actually looks a bit weird. It looks rather unnatural.
Is this related to the thing that makes some TV shows look like soap operas, even though they're shot really well?
I believe that's either true motion or a higher frame rate. Or
I
something
think
like that.
that's frame rate. No?
That's frame rate, yeah.
Frame
it's
rate.
like The Hobbit. I think it was The Hobbit filmed at 50.
Something like that, yeah.
Peter Jackson wanted to do the
48
first,
or something.
48 or 50, depending on where you are, and it just makes it look a bit naff. You can really see the set design.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah, and I think that's probably probably what's going to live long in the memory about it.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, people are going to say
to the landscape to portrait guys.
That killer blow that saw off Maurizio Sarri's Chelsea and could have arguably handed the first Premier League title in 2 generations to Liverpool, a country. Not they think they're a country, not a city that's been desperate for such an accolade for such a long time. There are people who have lived and died without seeing it. What's going to live long in the memory is the technology that enabled it to be represented properly on Instagram stories.
Shay Given wasn't that impressed.
Tucking right in.
Wonderful.
A lovely lamb lunch in the centre of Windsor.
Check it out. That's what that was. Check it out. He was basically, they do this more often than not nowadays. If an amazing goal scored, they will always be filming kind of Gogglebox style, the presenters, while they're in the actual set, when they're actually in the set of the TV show watching the action. And so they'll cut back to Alan Shearer going, "Oh, brilliant, great stuff," and Ian Wright just going crazy. But it was Shay Given, Ian Wright, and someone else. And
Steve McManaman.
Is it Steve McManaman? Brilliant. And they were both going crazy because Ian Wright loves a great goal, and Steve McManaman
Ian Wright just loves life.
Yeah.
Ian Wright turns a corner in a street and sees a cat and goes, I just can't believe it. He's a great guy.
And that's why he's a national treasure. God damn it. Shay Given in the middle of eating his dinner, though.
Talk to me about the logistics of that, though, because to me, as someone who is on nodding terms with that kind of stuff, that to me says Shay Given's turned up late there. Because normally
he hasn't had time to have his din-din.
If that's filmed at IMG, production house out in North West London, Uxbridge, you turn up at your call time. The runner comes, gives you a menu,
right?
And says, "What do you want for lunch?"
Ooh la la!
Yeah, you get your lunch and you eat it, and then you have your production mate and you go in. I think what's happened there, Shay Given's come late from another job, or he's just turned up late, and they're letting him eat a proper hot meal in the studio setting. Yeah. We've just spilt water in here. Imagine if that was gravy, Jim. Imagine if that was gravy in the spillage earlier.
I didn't.
No, exactly.
That's other people in football's rider, and we well know that.
Yeah, but Shay was. I mean, he did look up. To be fair.
He looked up and
Yeah.
he looked actually annoyed that they'd scored a goal of such quality while he was enjoying his scran.
The roast must have been incredible for for it not to compare.
They are,
He
though,
looked
aren't they?
genuinely
They are,
disgruntled.
they
I
are.
mean, I would say that he probably was late to the studio because he doesn't seem like the most organised chap. His Twitter profile has a pre-order link for a book that came out 3 years ago.
Wow. Maybe they've got Steve Harper on standby just in case he doesn't turn up.
But the other thing about the only thing I like about Given there is that he's sticking to his principles. And we're assuming he's running late, and if we've besmirched his good name and he wasn't late, and it was some sort of other admin error, fair enough.
Yeah.
But for me, Rude, if I come up late and someone says, "Look, do you want a bit of food?" and I go, "Do you know what? I know I'm late. I'm sorry. I'm a bit hungry. If you could just knock us up a quick sandwich, I'd really appreciate it. I don't know, or a bag of crisps or something." Shay Given is so sure of himself. He said, "I am late. I do want to be sat here watching the game with the rest of you. I would like a full roast dinner, please."
He is
Go to the
concentrating.
nearest pub if you have to.
the most admin heavy of all the meals.
But he's
Absolutely.
concentrating on one thing and one thing only, like all goalkeepers should be. They should
Yeah,
be
good
kind
focus.
of devoted to one thing.
They do say that about goalkeepers. You can spend 65 minutes doing absolutely nothing, and then out of the blue, a full roast dinner comes in front of you, and you're expected
you
to
have
deal
to
with
eat
it.
it.
Yeah.
There was a
Indeed.
lovely moment when Robertson slipped over and Jurgen did a proper giggle to the crowd and like gave them a pump up kind of,
Yeah.
come on guys, give him the support.
At that point, I realised I am a complete media whore because my heart skipped a beat there.
What?
Even though Liverpool were already, weren't they 2-0 up at the time?
I think we're 1
Okay.
maybe.
Well, in which case it happened within 2 minutes.
Oh, well, maybe not then.
Yeah. And I just thought, oh my God, what's going to happen? Obviously nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, actually, there was a lot of talk before the game about the Gerrard slip, which I'm sure Liverpool themselves ignored as much as possible.
Yeah.
But this is exactly the sort of nonsense that you have to banish, isn't it, when you're on such a run like this? And they'll be delighted to have done that and to have kept a clean sheet as well and to have done such a professional job. Because again, Chelsea didn't look like they were ever likely to win it. I know Hazard had
They had
a couple of
chances, didn't they?
but-
Like, Hazard hit the post and kind of missed from quite close
They-
range, but yeah.
And Chelsea's record at Anfield, as we learnt on Thursday, I think, Jim, you brought it to the table, is very
It's
good.
really
like,
good, yeah.
Undefeated in their last 8 or something. So it was a really good win for Liverpool. The team selection from Sarri, I know this is something we've talked about all season, but very, very quickly, a particular part of the team selection for me was a bit odd because I think that clearly he played Hazard because he wanted to drift in between defenders and midfielders and try and cause a bit of havoc, and he's been in good form. I get that. I know this is probably going to be an unpopular viewpoint. I think you've got to play Giroud in that game. I think you've got to play him as a focal point. It gives you an outball. Liverpool are going to probably dominate at home. They've been very good. They're expected by some to win the league. If they don't win the league, they come very close. They're the dominant team in this.
Yeah.
I'd have Giroud there because he offers you such an outlet.
You want Giroud tying up Van Dijk.
Yeah,
not
exactly. It kind of
giving
takes away the
him
best
something
defender,
to-
doesn't it?
Yeah.
But Sarri won't adhere to that, will he?
No.
He won't deviate from what he wants to do. You're right though. Occupying Van Dijk would be great. There was an amazing stat going into that game that someone might have actually put it to Sarri or maybe Klopp that no one has taken on and beaten Van Dijk in a one-on-one dribble in like over a year.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, so maybe they expected Hazard to be the first person to do that. But as you guys said, putting Giroud up there, just getting him right amongst it. I just think he can still do that at the top level, and I'd like to have seen him given the chance.
And exactly, it's not really about running at him with Giroud on the pitch, is it? It's about just giving him a lot to deal with whenever you get him in, because Giroud's hold-up play is so good. That is an amazing stat. I feel like you rarely see Van Dijk sprint because he just reads the game so well. It's like he never needs to.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
He's an impressive human being.
He's like a young Rio Ferdinand. Jordan Henderson, I kind of got pulled him out. I thought he was really, really good before he got. So he's had a really, really strong week.
He has. And actually, I think he's a good example of Klopp using his squad really intelligently, and sort of bring players in and out a little bit more. He's playing him a bit further forward now, isn't he? Which is isn't something you might have expected to have reaped the rewards that it has, but obviously he knows his players really, really well. And yeah, he's been impressive, and he's a real leader on the pitch as well, isn't he? And he's stepping up now when they have to go and win these games, when there's pressure on them all the time, and just sort of diffusing that. And again, he's another really impressive one. I'm surprised. I'd almost forgotten about Xherdan Shaqiri. I don't really know what's happening
He played
there.
a big part in celebrating that goal with Klopp. He just jumped right into his arms. It was a magnificent scene.
Yeah, like he did into his jacket that time. I don't know if anyone saw that.
That was amazing, wasn't it? That video of him just disappearing into Klopp.
Ipswich are the first team to be relegated in the entire Football League, the English Football League this season, after a 1-1 draw with Birmingham City. 17 years in the second tier. That's sad to see, isn't it? Especially because Norwich are doing so well.
Yeah.
Twitter was populated with, and listen, Ipswich are a big club, a great club, and I'm very sorry for their plight, and I hope they bounce back. But Twitter was awash with Ipswich fans insisting through the tears. You might even go as far as to say they doth protest too much about how they still didn't want to stick with Mick McCarthy, and it was at least we didn't play terrible football. I mean, all right, I'll leave that out there. Present that without comment.
You can play great football in League One next season.
As Pompey, I'm not doing. Actually, Pompey, I'm not doing that at the moment. Jim, what were you going to say?
I was going to say basically that. I was going to say where's the effect of what I was going to suggest. He doesn't seem like such a bad idea now, does he? But apparently he still does.
Yeah.
So
what about Paul Lambert and his future? It's just
sad.
It's just relentlessly depressing. I mean, it's hard to know where he goes next, whether he stays there or not. Ipswich clearly have got issues around funding, and they've been mismanaged and all the rest of it. They've won 4 games this season. It's nowhere near good enough, of course.
Paul Lambert could give Dortmund a ring, see if they need a hand again.
I wonder how long it's going to be till this reputation he's not starting to manufacture himself reaches.
He's still young. He's 49.
Dortmund.
He's 49.
Yeah. Is that young?
I don't even know anymore, to
Do you
be
remember
honest.
the
Footballers
media-
are getting younger.
Do you remember that media went through that phase of calling Alan Pardew an exciting young manager when he was about 52?
It's because he got white hair when he was about... He just did too much bleach in the 90s and he just got instant white hair.
He was only a couple of years younger than Manuel Pellegrini, wasn't he, when he called him that slur?
Yeah.
That slur.
Pardew's 57 now.
Yeah.
He doesn't really act like a 57-year-old.
No, not in the Grouch Show on a Friday. Do you remember when Paul Lambert scored that amazing goal for Blackburn Rovers? He was playing for their B team or
You're
something.
testing me now.
He fancied going and he
They're
chipped the
reserves.
keeper from about 35 yards. Oh, it was brilliant.
That
I
wasn't
remember
really
seeing
his
it on
game.
Sky. No.
That wasn't
I'm
really
just
his
saying
game
he
at all.
needs to get on the. He needs to get on the pitch. That's all I'm saying.
So is that what they did? They sympathised with him by showing a goal he scored for the reserves back in the 90s.
No, that's what always plays. Whenever I hear Paul Lambert in my head, that's what plays in my head. Him scoring that amazing goal.
This is the man whose Wikipedia page and his career statistics. It's the first time I've ever seen this, and it must be because they're unclear about the stats. But in his appearances and goal scoring in Scotland, he's got instead of say 32 appearances, 3 goals, it's got 32 plus 3 plus. It could be more, but we're not sure. So he's officially listed 686 plus appearances and 41 plus goals.
Has he submitted reserve appearances? We just need to check this is all right.
Yeah, a bit of the old Romario going on there.
A game's a game. A game is a game. Norwich extend their lead at the top of the Championship after grinding out a fairly turgid 1-1 at Wigan. Vital wins for Derby, Borough and Villa too. It's all happening at the top, isn't it? Once again, the Championship has shown us the way.
I couldn't stick the Norwich-Wigan game because it's watching Wigan games at Wigan is just awful. There's no fans there, to the point of where they've now blocked off the front 5 or 6 rows and they've just put permanent adverts there instead.
Wow.
Because they're not going to sell any tickets.
Yeah.
And it's hard to watch football in that kind of environment. And that's why I think it gives you a reminder of the power that fans have. There's no way if Premier League fans stayed away because they're unhappy about something, it will be anywhere near as marketable as it is. Because it's try watching a Wigan game. No disrespect to Wigan. I'm sure the fans who do support the club are great. And they've had their day in the sun and all the rest of it, and I'm sure they will again. But it's nowhere near the same product when you're watching it with no fans in the stadium.
Yeah.
It looks like a reserve game.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. Yeah. And everything just seems like it just echoes. When you can hear the ball being kicked, it's like,
You can just hear, Sido!
Exactly that.
Joey Barton's car was stopped in the car park by police after an alleged assault after they were well beaten by Barnsley. He's in a bit of trouble. But it was a fascinating kind of the police woman ran in front of his car and kind of stopped it with her hands, which was really exciting. Yeah, it was really
exciting.
It was real kind of APB stuff.
Why do people always
stopped it while it was driving?
Yeah, it looked like
a very strong policewoman.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Why do people always want to solve any conflict with a fight? As a pacifist, I find it incredible. #the mind boggles. Joey Barton, 23rd December 2011.
Yeah.
8 years ago, to be fair.
Doesn't use his fist. He uses a cigar usually to stop fights.
Yeah,
Is it a cigar?
is that legal to say that or not?
What do you mean? Didn't he put out a cigar in someone's face?
There was talk of that.
Player's
Yeah.
eye,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
I don't think cigar was involved this time, though.
Both
No,
clubs
no.
have sort of muddied the water a lot, haven't they? They've both been very sort of quiet about what's actually
Was
happened.
it mud or was it blood in the water?
It might have been a cigar.
We
I
just
don't know.
don't know. In the Scottish Cup, Celtic beating 9-man Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup. And 2 players sent off for the Dandy Dons. Ryan Christie. Did you see the head-to-cheek interaction?
I did through fingers.
It was disgusting.
I don't know. I've only seen it a couple of times, quite grainy footage on the laptop, and I mean, do you think it wasn't intentional? Was it?
It was massively intentional. He didn't take one look at the ball.
He only got a yellow for it.
Yeah, well, he got a second yellow. Yeah, I'm not in charge of the referees.
It's funny you say that because I don't know if even Neil Lennon thought that.
Look at it, and Lennon knows a headbutt.
Quite.
But like Ryan Christie's eye on the ball, the player who's in the dock on this particular situation, his head went straight into the player.
Okay, fair enough.
It looked premeditated to me.
I've not seen it close enough, so I'll have to defer.